Everyone, my name is Taisir and we are going to learn about Dumbell architecture and interoperability. So what do you mean by interoperability? Interoperability is the ability of different computer systems which are connected and work seamlessly. Now, you have two different management systems for network and one has vendor A and vendor B. Both are different companies, let's say Google and Samsung. So so now let's say, suppose for example, we take vendor A as Google. So whenever we are taking vendor A as Google, you have a network agent and you have a network objects where you want to share data. So what happens is, if two people has Google phones, so they are interconnected and you can transfer the data inside one network management system. So that is what interoperability actually means. So what importance does it have in computing? So it is very crucial because it enables diverse systems to share data and functions, preventing data silos and improving productivity. So data silos means there will be no corruption or data, or there will be no barrier in both or many vendors. So that is what data silo means. So what are the role of standards? Interoperability often relies on the standardized protocols and data formats such as HTTP for web communication, FTP, SMTP for mail, etc. So you have all the different types of standards for your devices to work on. So what are the challenges we have in interoperability? So the challenges we have is it helps in achieving interoperability can be difficult due to variations in standards, proprietary technologies, and software updates. So what happens here is, if vendor A is Google and vendor B is Samsung, Google can sometimes update their protocols, or they might add many other functions, so that might not work in Samsung. So that is what I'm trying to tell here. So that is one of the challenges which we can face here. So what is the example? So we have displayed that you can see interoperability in action when different brands of smartphones connect via Wi-Fi or routers by enabling data flow, or while enabling internet data. So as I told you, we are taking two examples, Google and Samsung. This was all about interoperability. So now let's talk about the Dumbell architecture. So the Dumbell architecture on the right side looks like a dumbbell, so that is why it's called Dumbell architecture. So in this Dumbell architecture, there is a segmentation for all your network components. So the Dumbell architecture divides a network into two distinct segments, each with its specific purposes or security requirement. Okay, so each of the Dumbell has its own security requirements, and it has a central hub. At the core of this architecture, there lies a central hub which connects the two segments. So in the middle, you can see application services, management protocol, and transfer protocol. Those we call it as a central hub. And then you have something called as traffic handling as its characteristic. So all traffic between the two segments is routed through the central hub. This setup allows for efficient traffic control, optimization, and security enforcement. So interoperability challenges, like as we discussed in the previous slide. So you have different kinds of challenges, like there will be different types of standards which will be updated by different kinds of vendors, and sometimes you have that different kind of kernels which sometimes don't support your devices. So that are the challenges which we have in interoperability. And the vendor diversity, organizations often use networking from multiple vendors in the central hub, and emphasizes the importance of ensuring capability for smooth operations. So all of these application services, management protocol, transport protocols can be used by can be given by different types of vendors. So you have different types of vendors for everything. So for chip making, for processors, in a basic vendor, I'm just talking about a basic vendor. So that is how everything works here. You have different types of vendors which actually help you and which actually gives you some good technology to maintain the network management between vendor A and vendor B. So the standards and the protocols, the key to achieving interoperability lies in adhering to the standardized networking. So all what we need here is we need standard thing, and we don't need any kind of differentiation between all the vendors. So I mean, say suppose for example you want to send a message. Okay, so you are using a mobile which is made by vendor A, and you're gonna send some data to your friend which is using vendor B. So what this architecture or interoperability gives you is that all the data should be transferred seamlessly. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that there should be no redundancies in any kind of data. Whatever the vendor A wants to send, everything has to reach vendor B. So that is how all it works here in interoperability and this Dumbell architecture which we are talking about. So this is all about your Dumbell architecture.
Thank you.